Hey there, it's Corey the Yard Buddha, and today I'd like to show you my favorite recipe of how I do grilled salmon. And I usually do it in a marinade of soy and honey and ginger and garlic. And so I'll show you how I make the marinade over here with kind of just these 4 easy ingredients. This is soy, the honey, and then this is just a mixture of ginger garlic paste. You could use either, regular granulated ginger and garlic also. You don't need to have the paste, and this is actually a 2-pound piece of steelhead that we got from Costco. We actually like the steelhead better because it does come with the skin on one of the sides, which I like to have that because I think it kind of keeps the moisture in a little bit better. And my goal here is just to kind of char the top side mostly, and then we'll flip it on the skin side at the very end and just finish up that bottom area. But we like steelhead better than salmon. It's just a little less strong, fishy tasting. And this is about a 2-pounder here, and we're gonna marinate it for about 3 hours. I think it's about 3 o'clock right now, and I'll probably shoot for putting it on at 6. So our goal here is just to kind of get maybe like a 1/4 inch of marinade in there, and it kind of depends on how big your fish is. If your fish is thicker than that, you're gonna want, maybe a 1/2 inch or something, but we've found that 2 pounds feeds about 4 of us without any leftovers, and so that is enough. So I'll show you how I put the marinade together here. I do throw in just a couple extra things that a lot of other people don't normally have, and these are just optional, but I usually put in a little bit of fish sauce and a little bit of rice vinegar to give it a little more tang and a little more flavor, but that is optional. So we'll show you the marinade. All right, so like I said, it kind of depends on the size of the fish that you got, but usually for a 2-pound fish, we go through a lot of soy, so I buy these giant jugs. I usually do about probably a 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup. I think this is a 16-inch baking dish or something, so again, we're just trying to get to that kind of 1/4 inch layer of marinade in there. That looks about right. And then any more liquids that you're going to put in, so if you are going to use fish sauce, I do it now. I usually do maybe about a tablespoon. And again, I'm sorry I'm eyeballing this, but I've done it so many times I can kind of just sense, but usually it's about a tablespoon. And then this rice vinegar is probably the same thing, about another tablespoon. So kind of have that liquid base now, and before you put in the ginger and garlic, you want to put in the honey, because I've found that if you put in the ginger and garlic and then the honey, then it all kind of clumps up and it's hard to separate. So I'm probably doing about 1/3 of a cup of honey there. So this is going to provide a nice sweetness to this, and then you want to try to work that honey into the liquid mixture before you put the ginger and the garlic in. So it usually takes about 30 seconds or a minute or so, and it will slowly dissolve into that soy sauce. If you want, you can put it in a little cup and put it in a microwave and heat it up, and it liquefies that much better. But I've made the mistake too many times of dumping in the solids in here, or if you're going to do any herbs or anything in here, and then putting the honey in, and they just become into big giant balls of spices. Okay, so that is the liquid mixture, and then I'll probably use about a heaping tablespoon of this. Really gives it a lot of flavor, maybe even a little bit more. And you can see this is kind of a paste, so it doesn't have that coarse of a texture. So it lends itself to being in a marinade really good. It will infuse itself into the fish. And like I said, you don't need to have these ingredients. You can even just do soy, honey, and ginger, or soy, honey, and garlic if you just have those 3 ingredients. But this is what I found works best for me. And so now I'm just gonna cut this piece of fish into 3s. Nice sharp knife. I've found that keeping them in nice big pieces makes it so they don't dry out on the grill too fast. And usually what I'll start out with is just getting that skin side nice and marinated here. We do want most of the flavor to be on the meat in the front. And so these are fillets. They've all been deboned. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them meat side down there and marinate them for, like I said, 3 hours, but I'm probably going to do most of the time with the meat side down, and then maybe at the very end I'll flip it back on this side. But all I'm going to do now is cover it with some saran wrap and put it in my fridge for 3 hours, and we'll see you at the grill. All right, we're about to put the salmon on, and I just want to show you what I'm using here. This is my old Weber Spirit grill. It's probably 15-20 years old and still working good. Every now and then you got to give it a little spruce up, and I'm very happy with my old grill, how it looks for being ancient like this. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm doing product placement, but I just want to show you stuff that I use and give you my opinion. But the Citrus Safe has no chemicals in it. It basically just uses citrus power to remove the grease and the charcoal dust and stuff, and that works really good for me. I mean, the only things I've really had to replace on this is the igniter a few times. I think I've had to replace these grill bars maybe once or twice, and then the drip burners down there, those triangle things, you probably have to replace every 2 to 3 years in any grill anyway. So right now I got it all cleaned off. I'm only using 2 burners on this salmon because I'm just going to put it right here. I don't need the heat up top, so I just got the first 2 burners on, and we're going to get it up to about 400 here and show you how I throw on the salmon. Alright, we're throwing the salmon on here now. One thing that I didn't mention is I usually throw a little sesame seed oil in there at the end just to give it a little extra flavor and so it doesn't stick to the grill, but that is not needed. And so I got this up to about 400, and it should just take about maybe 8 minutes on the front. My grill's kind of hotter in the middle, so I tend to put the thicker pieces towards the middle here. Again, you want to go meat side down. That's going to spend most of its time sitting on the meat there. And we're going to get a nice char on the top there. I usually Try to keep a little cup of water here in case I got any flare-ups. My grill does tend to run kind of hot. And then for big pieces of fish, I like to use a big fat spatula, kind of like that. So we'll check back here in about 8 minutes and see how the front looks. All right, it's been about maybe 6.5, 7 minutes, and I think these are a little bit thinner than normal, so I kept it at about 400 the whole time. I'll just show you how I'm going to flip them on their back, and usually on the back side is when the skin starts rendering and it starts to flare up, but I like to do most of the cooking on the front. So with this big flipper here, you can tend to get, and this is kind of why I cut the pieces like this too. And so we'll do about 2 minutes on the back there and we're done. Okay, there you go. Probably in about 8.5, 9 minutes. Just a couple minutes on the back side. We got these things done. And if the skin sticks to the grill, you probably cooked it for too long. I did have to tamp down a couple different flare-ups, but about 400 degrees, 8 minutes, maybe 6 on the front, 2 on the back. You're good to go. I like to serve these with some Calrose rice, which is kind of like a sticky rice that I season with sesame oil and maybe a little bit of the rice vinegar and some garlic salt. And they go really good with broccoli or string beans too. So hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. See you later.